All right, so that was a whole lot of info. Let's take a look at some of this stuff, right? A question that you might be asked. So the first thing we want to do is identify the hybridization of each atom. So you want to go ahead, pause the video, copy this down, identify the hybridization of each atom. All right, so hopefully you took a look at that. So let's take a look at some of these. Remember these terminal hydrogen atoms, they're terminal and only singly bonded, so they don't hybridize. So we're just gonna ignore them, right? So we start off with this sulfur here. It's got 4 points of attachment or 4 things on it, right? A carbon, a hydrogen, and then 2 lone pairs. 4 things, that's sp3 hybridized. This carbon right here has 3 things, right? 2 carbons and a sulfur, that's sp2 hybridized, as well as this carbon right here. And in fact, this whole ring is made out of sp2 hybridized carbons. They each got 3 things attached. Notice that the double bond, it's number of things, not number of bonds, right? So if you're doubly bound to something, that still only counts as 1 thing. Then over here on this oxygen, we've got 4 things attached, right? A carbon, a hydrogen, and 2 lone pairs. So that's sp3 hybridized. This carbon down here, we've only got 2 things attached, so that's sp hybridized. Same for this carbon right here, only 2 things attached, that's sp hybridized. And then finally, we're at this nitrogen over here. You got to be careful with this one. There's 4 things attached, right? 1 carbon and 3 hydrogens, so that's sp3 hybridization, right? sp3 hybridization. And so we've identified all the hybridizations. Next up, we want to identify how many sigma bonds do we have, right? So sigma bonds are all single bonds and the first out of every double or triple bond, right? So we've got 1 right here, 2 right here, only 1 of these bonds, so that's 3. This one right here, 4, 5, 6, only 1 of these bonds, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, only 1 of these bonds, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then be careful, right? There's this H3 here, which implies that there's 3 H's here, right? H, H, H. So we're at 16, 17, 18, and 19. So be careful when these formulas are condensed. That can trick you up. And so there's 19 sigma bonds, and then pi bonds. Pi bonds are going to be the second and third out of the double and triple bonds, right? So we've got a double bond right here, so that's 1, another 1, 2, 3, and then this triple bond has 2 pi bonds, so that's number 4 and number 5 for a total of 5 pi bonds. So be able to look at a molecule, identify the hybridization of each atom, identify how many sigma bonds and how many pi bonds.